Oh, damn, I missed the sign. I tried to get Tembisa. Oh, wait, look, that'll count. The main station here, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Since you have to get your phone, yeah? From that guy? When are you going to go back? I thought you said just 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It may be ready.
Yeah, maybe now.
Hello, y'all.
Polo Vivo. Lena.
I spent.
We try to see.
How do you know? For the L? Is that?
Oh, don't. Bro.
Wait.
Come on,
don't
man.
Be, hey, let's
you
not.
You can't drive on the right side and you are going to the left. Shit.
He just waved. No, I think so.
Wait for what?
What does he want to do?
I think he was
He's going to that side. Why is driving on the right side? Fuck.
Hey. Hey.
Bro. And it's Elena at the same time. You just drunk.
Or you?
Fuck.
Hello, y'all. We're reporting live from Tembisa, one of the biggest townships here in Joburg. And I done stayed over a week. Soweto and Tembisa are both huge, right? I've been to Soweto as well. I've been to Tembisa. I have not been to Alex yet, but I definitely been
you
to
won't
the other
go
two.
to Alex, baby.
He won't let me. Someone wanted to tour me, but he was tripping, y'all. He be saying he be being protective, but sometimes he just gets jealous a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But he was doing it as a safety.
Alexandra, yo. Yeah.
We got a friend with us, Nati. Did I pronounce it right?
Yeah.
Also from Eastern Cape. They're both from Eastern Cape. They both live here in Tembisa.
We grow together.
Yeah. So since I'm from the U.S., y'all, and then you know most South Africans, we were just talking about this. They never leave South Africa or travel outside of South Africa. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was telling him, he was telling me I grew up in a suburb just because I'm from the U.S. And I'm like, no, I did not at all. So I'm from a rural area of Mississippi, but Eastern Cape, you say where you're from, is very, very rural, right? Yeah, so our definition of rural is interesting to see. We're very rural, especially if you know down south in Mississippi versus like their rural. But this is the thing, before I even came, for those of you guys that don't know, townships here in SA, I thought that guy was about to. So he was telling me when I first got here, he was like, oh, I'm so worried you're not gonna, because you're from America, I don't know about you staying a night. So I stayed a full week here in Tembisa, a full week, day and night, and he was so shocked. He was surprised. He was like, no way, I can't believe this. Like, she's not struggling, she's not complaining, she's not. So if you don't know, they don't call them slums here in South Africa, but in other African countries they refer to them as being like slums, but here they're referred to as being townships. So like where he lives, for example, there's like a, how do you describe it, Sinti? Some kind of, well, we can see, right? It's like fenced in like this, and it's a bunch of like people that live within like that same area that's gated, maybe like 4 or 3 rooms. And you share a water tap from outside, so there's no running water inside of his actual room. But it's super doable. I guess it just depends on your mindset. Again, I come from humble beginnings. If you know Mississippi, you know. So it's, to me, it was very easy to make that transition while we're just going to get water outside, warm it up inside, whether you're using it to bathe, to shower, water, whatever it is that you need. And y'all know I love water. Water's life. And then we still ate. They have like a stove top. I'll show you guys when we get back. So it's very, very doable. How long have you been here in Tembisa, Nati?
Yo, since I was born.
Since you were born?
In Tembisa.
Well,
I grew up here. Okay.
But you're from Eastern Cape, you say, yeah?
From Eastern Cape, yes. Eastern Cape is my town. Where my father's, my sisters were staying there. So yeah. I was born here in Tembisa, but my sisters from Eastern Cape.
So, okay, so have you ever been to Eastern Cape or no?
Yes, I've been in Eastern Cape. Last 3 months I was in Eastern Cape. Yeah, last 3 months, yes.
Okay. Alright, he's picking up his phone to get repaired. We don't know what happened to his phone screen. It went purple a few nights ago. So he just dropped it off here to get it repaired. And then we will be back in a little bit. Sorry, y'all. They had to leave. He has some car trouble. His car's smoking right now. So, just to give you guys a little bit of an idea, just to give you an understanding of what that means, because in the U.S., especially like when I was in Ohio, for example, when people heard the word township, they thought it was a suburb. So I was like, no, that's not what that means in other parts of the world, right? So as you know, they had apartheid here in South Africa, right? So a lot of black South Africans were stripped of any land ownership, their homes, and forced into areas that were less developed or had less infrastructure. So they tend to have more problems with electricity and water and such in townships. So that's why I was given the definition of what it may be referred to in other African countries versus what that is and how that came about here in South Africa, for example. So he has a 1 room. This is so much. And this is his entire home, as you want to call it, or flat, or it's really not a house, it's like a room, right? And I was telling him like his neighbors have like a bunch more stuff. Like him, he don't have like a couch or like a closet that definitely you can fit in here that I see for other layouts next door that are really nice, that you can add more room to. But he's just like very simple, very basic, I guess. So this is where typically we're like warm up water here, and it's just like a 2-burner stove, and it's a microwave and a mini fridge. And then, like I said, outside it's where you grab water from the tap, right? And he typically keeps these extra jugs here to fill water and then warm up here on the stove. And when it comes to bathing, they'll use, sorry, some clothes in there now. When bathing, they'll use this tub and pretty much wipe off, shower, standing up. So, and just when converting currencies, the typical cost for this type of room is around like 1,000 Rand. So in USD, that's around like just $50 per month, right? So, and that's again because there's not like water and extra amenities like, you know, that you have to go outside for like water and things like that. They had to go, his car started smoking. So I'm gonna tune in with you guys in a little bit, okay? Good morning, y'all. I just bought some stuff from Pick n Pay really quick. It's a market here in South Africa. So last time y'all saw me, we were coming from a car dealership, I believe, and he was getting his car fixed. But that took a turn. Right? That's why I was like, don't let this camera fool y'all. We in Tembisa right now. He from Tembisa. He is not that sweet and innocent. Like drunk. Like I was so drunk. Like so drunk. Like long story, right? Let me pause for a second so I can put some stuff in the car. Wait, fish and chips. Wait, no, we were saying. Sorry, y'all. We just bouncing around a little bit. No, don't let this camera. No, I ain't innocent on this camera. Wait, you were saying what is your ending for like grandmother and grandfather here? Kulu. No, like you spell the ending. For example, abuelo is a O, the letter O, so that would be grandfather. And abuela with the A would be grandmother. So like the A is feminine and the O is masculine. So you know what you're saying? You'll say grandparent one way and grandmother another way.
Yeah, it's another way.
Right.
Because we put grandmother, you see, it's grandmother and grandfather. So we start with mother and father. Then we put the same word, Kulu.
Spell the ending. How would you spell the ending?
K-H. L-U.
Okay. It feels better now. It cooled down. You see that paper? It worked. It worked. Okay. Well, y'all, so.
Can you do the order?
No. Look, I was about to leave here. He pissed me off. And head back to Kenya. Look, I know it's like what, December here in South Africa, and that's a cool thing to go and have a good time and a good vibe. I totally get that. But he's like, not the point till you get drunk, that drunk till, you know, where you're missing work, or you know, you don't show up a few days later when we're supposed to move. Or you get so drunk to where you tell me you're gonna go outside and just smoke a cigarette and you leave from 11 p.m. to 7 o'clock in the morning. That's a problem. Okay? Hi, how are you? What are you ordering? He wants to do. Okay. That's 1 second. He's just ordering something real quick, okay, y'all? Let me pause. Okay. So, sorry y'all, I had to eat real quick. I haven't eaten nothing all day. What we were saying was, so as y'all know, I'm Black American. I'm not Jamaican or Indian, right? Everybody who raised me is 100% proudly from the Delta of Mississippi, and I'm Black American, right? Not Indian. So I say that to say this. And the reason why I mention that realistically, because so many people keep bombarding me with, you need to have kids, you need to have a baby. Meanwhile, these are probably irresponsible people who probably don't even take care of their own kids before you ever in your life step to me about having a kid. I love kids. I do not have any kids. However, I am reasonable enough to know I will only bring life into this earth when I feel like both me and my partner are both stable. Like, I wouldn't bring them into an environment where, you know, somebody's getting that drunk until they're doing this. You get what I'm saying? Or X, Y, and Z. Like, I will only bring a child to I see fit where I know it's in a stable environment. Like, I love a child enough to know that. Like, don't get me wrong, having kids is a beautiful thing, but too often, out of like cultural norms, some people bring kids into conditions knowing that they don't even have the means to support themselves, let alone to be able to support them and a child, or to have the mental capacity to take care of a child, or if they're suffering from addiction, like whether it's drugs, alcohol, or if they're abusive. Like, nobody's gonna bring a child into that type of environment. Well, I wouldn't, realistically. So I say that to say this: I don't care if it's the ruler of Dubai or Elon Musk his damn self. I will only birth a child if I see it fit to have one, and it's pretty much that simple. Did you get this Polish sausage or no?
Yeah, I did.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
Where is it?
No, they are still preparing inside. They said since it's low shedding, they are using the gas on the other side.
Oh, we're in Timbisa, so they have load shedding more often. I thought they got better though overall throughout the entire country of South Africa. Yeah? Is it just still more common in the townships versus like in the suburbs, or like if they don't have the backup generator, or what?
Depends.
What do you mean?
Depends what you do. Some people, they don't have backup, but you buy it for yourself if you want the backup. Like
okay. I'm fine though. Like, I'm totally fine. I've been in Tembisa for almost 2 weeks. Like, I stayed fully at his place, and y'all, it was funny because he was all like, "This is not safe. How are you gonna be okay?" And he's like, "Oh, she's fine." So I'd rather the power be out than the water though. I'd rather have water. Like, water is more important to me. So yeah, but let me know what you guys think on that. I feel like, yeah, I would only have a kid when I see myself fit, if I'm okay mentally and physically, and my partner is too, before I ever talk. Because he pissed me off so bad, I was thinking about flying back to Kenya and leaving here. Like, serious, I'm so serious. But I'm like, we're gonna see. But I was like, yo, just pay me what you owe me and leave, and I'll leave. Let's just do that, because you keep saying you're sorry, but you keep doing the same thing, like over and over and over again. So, you know, so it's like, I don't know what that means. Like, you're saying sorry, and I get that, but it's like, okay, you do it again like 3 days later. So what does that mean? You get what I mean? So I don't know. But don't forget, I see a lot of people were so tuned in to just him being in the video here, as opposed to actually paying attention to the store. So when it comes to mental health or travel related content, or even like my diabetes, especially that one, that's something that I really want to push, because again, I have a healthcare background, right? And I've seen very often where patients who've been admitted in a hospital setting, I'm just giving y'all an example. Let's say if it's somebody who's diagnosed with diabetes and they had it for like a few years, or let's say if it's somebody newly diagnosed and they're in a hospital, right? I've seen this happen so common when I'm like talking to patients about diabetes and complications that can happen if it goes untreated for too long. For example, one in particular would be kidney disease, which can lead to CKD, so chronic kidney disease, or end-stage renal disease. Then this is just stemming from diabetes. So that's why it's like people think often it's just sugar, but it's so much more to it than just like your blood sugar level, that I was like, wow, man. So again, if it goes untreated for too long, it can lead to things like kidney disease, right? And you want to know what happens with end-stage kidney disease? You'll need dialysis. And you want to know what happens with dialysis? That creates even more complications. And then I've seen even patients get depressed with having to get up and go to like a dialysis treatment center, whether if it's like on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday basis, or Tuesday, Thursdays for the rest of their life. And that could just be from diabetes alone, right? Another thing that's common is blindness if diabetes goes untreated for too long. Amputations if diabetes goes untreated for too long. So that's why I'm really trying to promote that digital product, because it pretty much details symptoms associated that you can know when your blood sugar is too low or too high, complications that can arise if it goes untreated for too long, treatment plans, management, prevention, walking, dieting. And then I also include like a tracker where you take your blood sugar and you get to note down if you have any symptoms that day, where you can tell like if your blood sugar is too high and too low, and treatment methods that you can do for treating it when it's too high or too low. Another big one that I have is narcissism. We live in a chaotic world. There's a lot of like chaos across the globe. People sometimes could be, whether if it's in a personal or a business setting. Have you ever had that one extremely toxic person that you encounter in life, whether if it's from like a previous relationship or in a business setting? So there's a term for that, and most people have no idea what it is in certain instances. Now granted, there are some people who are diagnosed and then there are some people who never get diagnosed. And the reason why I really want to bring that to light, because people could be dealing with people like this in life and you have no idea what you're up against. So I pretty much teach what is narcissism, symptoms associated with a person, and I also even include like a self-assessment, just asking you on your current relationship or previous relationship to see if you ever dealt with somebody like this in life. Red flags when it comes to dealing with people like this in life, to stay clear for them, because there's different types as well that I also explain on my online store. Whether if you've encountered or dealt with people like this, so you know how to navigate certain personalities like this. And y'all, don't get it twisted. It's usually people who you at least expect. They typically are like CEOs or like lawyers or even surgeons, especially in the healthcare setting, that are definitely very narcissistic according to actual statistics. These people can be very smart, very educated, yet known to be very charming, very attractive, but they can be also manipulative, you know what I mean? And they have no empathy at all whatsoever. Like the way your brain's wired versus the way their brains are wired is completely different. So I love talking about things like that from a mental health standpoint. So mental health, diabetes, and definitely anything pertaining to travel, like just knowing the basics when you're traveling, that you can book one-on-one sessions with me and ask any type of questions related to whether if it's mental health, whether if it's diabetes, or whether if it's travel related content. So all health and travel is mostly what all of my online store services are. Definitely subscribe and get my free safety guide. That's totally free. That's for any guy, any girl across the globe. And then that way you also will receive more notifications from me, and you learn a little bit more about me and where I grew up from and how I came about traveling the world myself once you subscribe and grab that freebie on my store. So like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I will tune in with you guys later, okay? Bye.